You ever walk out of the salon, catch yourself in a window, and think, it's definitely a haircut. Not awful, just underwhelming. You wanted lift, a little swing, maybe even something that felt fresh or bold. But instead, you got something that says, she's still waiting for her AARP card. And somehow, your jawline looks heavier. Your eyes feel smaller and the whole thing just dulls you down. Some cuts promise to make you look younger, but end up doing the opposite. And it's not just about trends or taste. It's about knowing when a style stops, suiting the face you have now. If you've ever asked for just the usual and walked out feeling flatter on top and fuller in the cheeks, trust me, you're not the only one. That cut worked when your hair was thicker and your jawline a little sharper. But once you hit 60, the game changes. What used to lift now drags. What used to soften now sags. So the right cut today? It's not about looking younger. It's about shape, movement, and softness that actually bring your features to life. It can brighten your face, make your whole look feel lighter even if you didn't touch your makeup. That's what we're diving into today. We're going to bust 3 haircut myths that a lot of women over 60 still hang on to styles that sound safe, maybe even familiar, but aren't exactly doing us any favors anymore. And don't worry, I'm not here to call anyone out. I've believed some of these myths too, but I'll show you better, softer options that genuinely flatter where you are now. This isn't about chasing youth. It's about choosing a cut that finally feels like it fits. So if you've ever had the sneaking suspicion that your haircut might be aging you more than your birthday does, stick around. I've even got a dead simple way to tell if your current cut is quietly working against you. Let's talk hair, honestly, and find something that lifts you up. I remember sitting in the salon about 5 years ago, and there was this woman, maybe mid-60s, elegant, clearly someone who knew how to put herself together. She asked for the classic bob tucked in at the jaw. The stylist nodded, started snipping, and half an hour later, she looked tighter. Not in a sleek and sharp way, more like her whole haircut was holding its breath. That's the face-hugging bob for you. At some point, it became the go-to cut. Professional, polished, age-appropriate. But after 60, that tidy little curve can turn on you. The part that's supposed to hug your jaw, it ends up spotlighting the exact area most of us would rather soften or lift. It pulls attention to the lower face where time tends to leave its little marks. And if the cut is too stiff or too perfect, it's even worse. Suddenly your hair feels more like a helmet than a style. It doesn't frame your face, it outlines it, boldly, like a warning sign. A bright frame around all the things you'd rather people didn't notice. Now, I'm not saying bobs are off limits. Not at all. But if you love a bob, and lots of us do, there's a smarter version. One with softness and swing. Think layers near the chin, feathered ends that float instead of cling, and just enough movement to lift the whole look. One of my friends made that shift last year. Same general length, but this time with airier layers and a gentle bend. We met for brunch 2 weeks later, and she walked in looking not necessarily younger, just lighter, brighter. Like her face finally exhaled. That's the difference. Your haircut shouldn't feel like it's cinching your face, it should feel like it's giving it room to move. And if your daily styling routine involves a round brush and a silent prayer, something's off. Because past 60, your hair shouldn't feel like a corset. It should feel like freedom with a little bounce. And if a bob that hugs your jawline can backfire, wait till you see what happens when your cut doesn't hug anything at all. My neighbor Linda decided to go ultra short after she retired. She told me, I just want something easy, no blow dryer, no fuss, wash and go. Fair enough. But what she ended up with wasn't low maintenance. It was sharp, like scalp and angles sharp. Honestly, she looked like someone who'd scold you for walking across her lawn. Not exactly the energy you want when you're heading out for brunch. And that's the trap with the ultra-short Pixie, especially after 60. It gets pitched as this stylish, fuss-free solution for aging hair. And sure, stylists love to say Pixie-cut women over 60, like it's a magic formula. But if the cut's too cropped, too tight, too sharp, it can backfire. It puts everything on display, every line, every dip, every shadow, with nothing soft to balance it. If your face is rounder or fuller, it can feel a little abrupt. And if your features are fine or delicate, it can come off as severe. It's not that short hair is wrong. It's that sharp hair is tough to pull off. Softness always flatters more, especially as we get older. So what's the move instead? A feminine Pixie. Still short, still easy, but with longer top layers. A little softness around the ears and nape, and a bit of volume on the sides. Just enough movement to give it life. It lifts the crown, frames the eyes, and brings light back to the face. Sometimes that tiny bit of lift is all it takes to help your glasses sit better and your cheekbones pop. It's still low effort, but it looks intentional. Like you chose short because it suits you, not because you gave up. I once saw a woman at a book signing who nailed this look. Silvery hair, side-swept fringe, and just the right amount of tousle, like she ran her fingers through it, and it just fell into place. She looked confident, modern, effortless. That's what short should feel like. So if you're considering a Pixie, ask your stylist for a little volume at the crown, some soft, feathered edges, and skip the buzz cut vibes. You're not heading to basic training. You're heading to brunch, or the art gallery, or just the next version of your life with a little more freedom and a little less fuss. Because if your haircut makes you feel like you're fading out, it might be time to grow back a little presence with softness built in. And if going too short can harden your features, staying long forever, that's its own kind of weight. We all know someone, maybe it's you, maybe it's me, who's been rocking the same long, straight hair since prom. It used to feel elegant, simple, classic, back when Aquanet was basically a bathroom staple. But after 60, that same long hair, especially if it's heavy and worn super straight, can slowly start working against you. Here's why. Long, flat hair has a way of pulling everything down. It drags the eye lower, away from your cheekbones, and eyes the very features that deserve the spotlight. And once you factor in thinning, thank you hormones, that once glamorous mane starts to feel more like a curtain. Not romantic, not timeless, just long. I had a friend, Susan, sharp as ever in her mid-60s, who kept hers long because she said it made her feel more feminine. But it was pin straight, no layers, no shape, just hung there. One day, she surprised all of us. Showed up with a fresh textured lob, just brushing the collarbone, soft waves, and a few gentle highlights around her face. Still her, still elegant, but lighter, brighter, like her features finally had room to breathe. That's the magic of a well-shaped cut. It doesn't have to be drastic, just something with movement, a bit of texture, and some smart shaping that draws attention up, not down. Think soft waves, subtle face, framing layers, maybe even a few highlights to catch the light. It's not about giving up length. It's about bringing it to life again. Because here's the real deal. It's not the length that ages you, it's the lack of shape. Hair that just hangs can weigh your whole look down. And let's be honest, you didn't come this far in life just to hide behind a wall of hair. This kind of cut, I call it grace with edge. Feminine, yes, but with movement, flexibility, personality. You can still tuck it, clip it, leave it loose, but now it does something. It frames, it flatters, it forgives. And if you're worried about thinning, those soft layers add volume, the texture adds bounce, and those lighter pieces near your cheeks, instant lift. No more hair clinging to your collarbones like it's trying to blend in with your scarf. Because you're not a backdrop, you are the scene. Feminine doesn't have to mean floor length. It just needs to feel like you. So how do you know if your current cut is quietly pulling you down? Let's look at one dead simple way to tell. So how do you really know if your haircut is quietly aging you? No need for magic mirrors or second opinions, just a quick gut check. It takes more effort than it gives back. If your cut needs mousse, 3 brushes, and a pep talk just to sit right, that's your sign. A great haircut should work with your hair, not wrestle it into submission every morning. If you're doing daily battle just to make it behave, something's off. It presses in where it should pull away. Take a step back literally and look at the shape. Is your hair clinging to your jaw? Flattening your crown? If it's crowding your features or pulling everything downward, it's probably calling attention to the very areas you'd rather soften. The best cuts, like good tailoring, create space and shape, not tight outlines. It dims your face instead of lifting it. Even without color, a good cut should reflect light. Add some movement, layers, texture suddenly. Your whole expression looks more awake. If your hair hangs stiff and shadowy, it's like standing in bad lighting all day. A few soft bends, a lift near the cheekbones, and boom, your face shows up again. This isn't about turning back time. It's about looking in the mirror and thinking, yeah, that's me just lit better. Still not sure what that kind of better framing looks like? Let's wrap it all up with a mindset shift, one that makes your next salon visit way less stressful. Here's the real talk. Once you hit 60, you don't need a trendy cut. You need a thoughtful one. One that fits where you are now, not who you were at 25 or what the magazines say is in. Softness, shape, ease, that's the trio. Not to chase youth, but to support your features in a way that feels right. That feels like you. Whether that's a layered bob, a soft pixie, or a breezy textured lob, the right haircut doesn't try too hard. It just works. Quietly. Confidently. And here's the thing, most of us, by now, have trimmed the drama, ditched the high-maintenance stuff. We know what's worth the effort. Your haircut should absolutely make that list. So next time you sit in that chair, don't say, same as last time. Say, let's freshen this up. Let's work with what's real and make it feel like me today. Small shift, big difference. And maybe best of all, when the cut works, you forget about it. You just get on with your life and your reflection keeps up. Before you head out, I'm curious, which of these haircut myths have you been holding on to? Number 1? Number 2, or number 3? Or maybe you've already moved past them and your current cut finally feels like home. Drop a comment. Share the good, the awkward, the what was I thinking moments. That's how we figure it out together. If this gave you clarity, or just a nudge, hit that subscribe button. We've got more style wisdom coming your way, minus the fluff.